Chastity, the social media influencer and rockstar killer. Maria, from Miami. And Lucy, aspiring actress. Sydney, hip-hop lover and writer, so I'm told. And my quiet one, Mackenzie. Well, hello, ladies. I'm Bella.
Hey.
I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat? Control.
I'm going home.
Don't go.
Attention.
You bring the total package to the table. You just need the right friends.
Are you my friend?
No, but you can be mine.
And power.
I stuck my neck out for you.
Thank you.
And I pulled the strings to get you onto this show.
Take all three away, and he becomes desperate.
So what's with the apples?
Well, it represents knowledge, wisdom, beauty, and power. Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all.
I'm gonna send you the money for the ticket, and I already have your room set up at the Palms.
You do that, babe.
Because once you have possession of the apple, no man alive will have power over you.
You make it sound so easy.
Oh, it's not easy.
Brett, look, I'm sorry.
Save it. Save it.
I get no auditions.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
I get no callbacks.
I really need to get upstairs. They stole all my money.
I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Right now they have a do not disturb until this afternoon. If they call you, great.
How is he gonna call me if he doesn't?
If not, charge it to the game.
Make no mistake, ladies. In order to succeed in this game, you must be willing to play it out till the very end.
This business is all types of savage.
What are you doing?
But if you follow my blueprints, I guarantee you will become a millionaire within the next 3 years. Possibly way earlier. So, are you ready to take that step?
Another day, another dollar. Ain't about money, don't you holla. 100 miles and racing, and that money conversation been my only motivation, yeah.
Up, y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director and the Council on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Rita Parks. You're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. Live from the B2S penthouse. What's going on? It's your boy, the Director, aka Wes Clark. And you're listening and watching Real Talk. Thanks for joining us again with the Director and the Jedi Council. So, a lot of interesting things going on. And we aims to talk about it. We coming we coming from the penthouse today. the B Twist penthouse. And somebody just texted me that they was like the penthouse. I'm like, yeah, the penthouse. Full-fledged writers strike. It's been going on for a couple months now, or at least over a month now. SAG has joined in, and yeah, it's in full effect. So we're gonna talk about that, break that down a little bit, kind of put some things into perspective of who they're striking against, but the studios, right? But there's specifically an organization that represents the studios that we'll talk about that, and just kind of like talk about how does this affect? We know how it affects the writers eventually. We know how it affects the actors to a degree. But how does this affect the fans? That's a good question. And how long does this have to go before the fans start feeling the effects? Meaning shows not being done, uh films push back, things like that. So we're gonna see when we start feeling the effects of that. And we'll talk about some more stuff too. But of course, we always get our show start off with the weekend recap for the boxofficemojo.com, sponsored by boxofficemojo.com, or courtesy of Box Office. Well, they don't sponsor, they ain't cutting us no check. Elemental, number 5. This is for the weekend of July the 14th through the 16th. 9.1 million for Elemental. Number 4, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, 12.3 million. Number 3, Insidious, The Red Door, 13 million over the weekend. Number 2, Sound of Freedom. That's 27.3 million. And number 1, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Made 54.7 million over this weekend. And I went to see it opening week, and right now it's at a worldwide of 234 million. 78 million domestic and 155 million international. So, and I recommend you go out and see that film. If it ain't the best in the series, it's one of them so far. I have to really go back and binge watch all of them, but this one was really good. It's very today. It's very timely. It's very it's very Tom Cruise when it comes to the stunts. I mean, the stunts are amazing. The action's amazing. The fight scene on the train is epic. And that's a big Hollywood trope too. Fights on a train, on top of a train, where everyone's done. Bond's done it. Like all the action people have done it. Bond has done it. Indy has done it. I think Indy's done it. But it's a trope. It's a Hollywood trope. A lot of people do it. All the action heroes have done it. But this one was actually, they found a way to do it a little different. So that was cool. We'll talk about that as well. Yeah. And there you go, man. And we'll really, that's the key thing we're going to talk about today is the strike and how it affects everyone, from the actors. Obviously, that's more obvious. The writers and the actors strike affects each other to a degree because they're standing together. And how does it affect the studios in the long run? And how does it affect the fans, if it does at all? So some people are like, I don't give a dang about no strike. Just put my shows on. I can watch, reruns. Some don't care. They just want to be entertained. So we'll talk about it. Anywho, bringing my Jedi Council. Kev when he gets here, and Ralph is here. Ralph, you in the building? What up, bruh?
What's going on, everybody? Good evening.
Good evening. That's a good. We'll do some trending topics as well before we get into the meat of that. But that's a funny segue because remember we did talk about there's so many. There's a lot of vampire / Dracula movies in the next year or so that's being done. We got Salem's Lot that's being done by my man Jesus, what's his name? The guy who did Aquaman. You know, he usually does horrors though. Asian guy.
James Wan.
James Wan, thank you. He's doing Salem's Lot. We have, of course, the last voyage of the Demeter coming out, which looks amazing. Then there's a Nosferatu movie in the works. Well, I don't know if it's in the works now, but it was in the works. Yeah, and I just read an article. I put it in the chat that Netflix is thinking about rebooting the article says they think about rebooting the worst shared universe in the history of film, meaning because they just failed miserably to actually be a shared universe. But Netflix is thinking about picking up and rebooting the dark universe, Universal's dark universe or the monster universe, whatever they were calling it. Because it did have potential. You know, everyone still now remembers that shot, right? Of the how many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actors. You know, they remember that shot. I'm gonna share it here so people who don't remember it, they'll remember it then. It was that where are we at? Yeah, there you go. That shot right there of the 5 actors. You know, you had what is her name? I forget her name, but she's the one who played the mummy. But
Yeah,
then
Sophia Boutella.
Sophia Boutella, yeah, with her fine self. And then you got of course Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, and my man here, I call him Ricky Ricardo. What's my man's name? I can't think of his name right now. Bartum something.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Javier.
And then of course Russell Crowe. So as we bring Kev, welcome back to the show. Yeah, so this iconic, as they called it at the time, now they just kind of laugh at it like, ha, this thing never worked. But you look at this though, and it's like the dark universe coming, and you're like, yeah, I don't care what they're playing. I just want these guys in the film. You know? So I mean, the Mummy failed miserably. Yeah, Mummy failed miserably. Even Tom Cruise couldn't save that film. You know, they never got to Johnny Depp's one, didn't he? He was supposed to be the Invisible Man, right?
Yep.
And Javier, I'm not sure who he was supposed to play either, because they had opened up Dracula Untold, but that was that other dude.
Yeah, but that Dracula Untold didn't have anything to do with this one for some stupid reason. That and I Frankenstein, the one with
those were all separated. But Dracula Untold, I was reading this article, was supposed to be a part of this. But
they need to make up their mind.
Yeah,
because at first they said it wasn't supposed to be a part of it, and they were going to get a whole new Dracula.
Right.
And
so I don't know. So maybe Javier was supposed to play Dracula. I don't know. I don't know who he was supposed to play. I don't know. I don't remember offhand. I remember reading the original article, and it told you everyone that was supposed to be. I know he's Jekyll and Hyde, right? That was Russell Crowe's Jekyll and Hyde. And he appeared in the Mummy, didn't he? I think he
I
did.
think so. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in
And
the mummy.
he's supposed to be Jekyll and Hyde. So that was the best way they could kind of connect it, I guess. They kind of led up to, I guess it was, having him in it. It was just very badly done, poorly done from the jump street with the mummy, you know. Um and like
Just
they
like
said,
everything else, the Hollywood trying to it was Hollywood experimenting, trying to find themselves because they had so many failures. Well,
yeah,
outside
but
of
I mean,
superhero movies.
why they trying to find themselves? These characters have been around for generations.
Yeah, yeah,
These
they've been around for generations,
guys,
but they don't. But remember, again, what do I always say? There's an age of innocence, whatever you want to call it. That age is gone now.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I
People
agree
don't.
with you there. I agree with you there. But I just feel like these things,
It's
because
only
I
a
mean,
niche.
it's very hard to mess up a vampire movie. That's hard. Vampire
Oh,
movies
really?
No,
traditionally.
well, no,
Ask you,
it's not
now
hard.
ask yourself
No,
that question. How many vampire movies in the last 15 years that you probably never even heard about that didn't get any kind of notice whatsoever? It didn't even show up on your radar screen, but was a vampire movie.
Do so many. It's the most. Yeah, I said it all the time. I've said it a million times on this show. It's the most filmed character in the history of film is the vampire. There's so many, but what I'm saying is vampire movies, not saying that they all are blockbusters, but they traditionally do decent because there's a cult following of vampire, people that like vampire movies. So they traditionally, however way they're released, whether they're straight to DVD or straight to digital or in the theater, they typically do decent. And these guys managed to not. I don't know. I'm gonna bring up the numbers for Dracula Untold, but I'm like they
Dracula Untold did okay, but again,
yeah.
like I said, it's not. And actually, you just said it. There's only a small audience of people who are even interested in 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 vampires, but B in a monster universe. There's not a large audience for that, and I don't. Universal was playing somebody woke up one morning and was just like, and just couldn't shake the bug of we got to do a monster universe. Now's the time. I guarantee you we can do it. What in what generation you got kids playing? uh I mean, name some of the horror games that they play online.
Yeah,
It's
that's scarier than any horror movie. Diablo, that the one they put on TV now.
Yeah, I played. There's one called. Damn, I forgot. It's a game that I have it too, but it's a vampire game. I forget the name, but it was pretty popular too when it came out. But it's like Bloodthirst or something like that. It's called. It's a vampire game. No, it was pretty
but
popular.
but 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 my point being is the video game experience, the horror experience in video games also kind of sort of contributed to. It's not so but playing a game in the dark, like Resident Evil, at 3 in the morning is terrifying. I don't care what nobody says.
Yo,
Well,
let me
at
tell you.
least it
Let
was.
me tell you something. I was playing the Friday the 13th game. That ish is scary when you played it in the dark. And I was Jason. I was playing as Jason, and I had to
And
go.
you still got scared,
Bruh. You know what's scary? That
turn the light on.
freaking not that mother's voice, because you keep hearing her voice in the game. So every time you kill one of the camp counselors, she's like, "Make them pay, Jason. Make them pay." And I'm like, "Shut up, mom." Yo, it's
And that
very
and
freaky.
that
It's very free. And what I say another thing at the end of the game, like if you because you have a time limit to kill them all before they finally like get away, and if that's how you lose if you don't do it. So if I don't kill them all, and then it goes to the end screen when you lose is the picture of the mother's head. That old crazy, scary picture of the mother's head.
See, that's that bull. That's that bull right there.
I told you, bro. The way he would when he was worshiping it, when he had the shrine in part 2, you had the cut off severed head. Oh man, bro, that is not an image you want to look at before you go to sleep. I'm sorry, that's just not an image.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. But you know what else probably killed the vampire movies? The Twilight series. I'm gonna
No, I disagree.
Well, I mean, they definitely weren't scary. That's for sure.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
They definitely weren't scary. They had a great they did well with as far as money goes, because they had a great big following. Plus, it mostly was catered to the youth. So yeah, it did well. It did well.
But that's what I'm talking about, because that's where movies are geared. But that's where movies are geared toward now, is the youth. So you got the youth thinking about horror vampire movies, and they see Team Edward, Team Joseph, right? And then the only other scary horror movie version of a vampire that you saw was True Blood. That was really it. But even then, it's geared. It's geared more.
No. There was a bunch of TV series.
Well,
there was a couple of TV series.
I have to.
Vampire.
I gotta agree with you there, because think about the Vampire Diaries is basically a TV version of Twilight. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a TV series version of Twilight. The same type of feel where you're not like a vampire is not projected as they normally are. And even some of the other series, like the one on Netflix with the two women, the two girls, one is a vampire from a family, and one's from a family of hunters, and but they're all in this romanticized, whatever, it is. It's more modern, geared towards younger people. The youth.
Well,
you ever seen an old vampire in a minute?
But if you really want to blame anybody for really starting all of that, you can blame Anne Rice. She's the one who really romanticized the vampire.
But at least her vampires were adults.
But at least,
with the exception of
was scary. It
did have a little terrifying. Horror. Yeah, it had a horror. At least it had more of a horror feel to it. I mean, Twilight. Yeah, they did much more than Twilight. Twilight wasn't scary at all.
No, Twilight wasn't supposed. But Twilight wasn't supposed to be scary.
Right.
Twilight was supposed to be more superhero-ish, for lack of a better phrase. It wasn't meant to be scary at all. The only thing that was terrifying was those big ass wolves.
And to me, they weren't terrifying to me, because it felt a little. I don't want to say campy, but to me it didn't feel right. Like the big ass wolves.
No, not when they first showed up. It didn't. And I'll tell you this much: when they were in that big battle and they were chopping them vampires' heads off, but literally biting their heads off, I thought it was dope. Listen, people can say what they want about Twilight. Twilight did what it was supposed to do.
It did what it was supposed to do. Well, I'm saying even the actors that made all that money off of it hates those movies. Both of them.
That's not. Let's give it context. They hate the Twilight series because of all of the stuff that they had to go through.
No. The guy who played Pattinson.
Yeah, the guy who played. Homeboy who played Edward.
Because it stuck with him so long, he hated that. He hated the fact that it stuck with him so long.
Yeah, because it kind of sort of it typecast him a little bit.
Way.
Yeah.
It typecast him a little bit.
Christian Stewart is the exact same way. And the other guy, you don't need you need to put a search party out for the guy that played the wolf. But
he did that one good movie, that one good action movie that he did, and poof,
you ain't seen it. Yeah. Exactly. Last thing you saw, he was with Taylor Swift, and then after that one, poof, it's gone.
Yeah, his name is Taylor. Exactly too. His Taylor and Taylor. His name is Taylor
Yep.
Lawton or something
Dawn.
like that.
Poof.
But
Yeah.
I don't. But to say that Twilight had any, it had
I can say
it
that
had.
it dumbed down the horrorness of vampire
No,
films.
I don't think so. I
Definitely
think
did.
that's just in the no. I think that's just in the context of the viewer because I don't. It didn't dumb down anything for me because I could still watch Bram Stoker's Dracula or Salem's Lot and it's still
Well,
got
I
to turn
mean,
a light
when
on.
when I when I say, when
Yeah,
we
but
always say these things, we
but
don't
see,
we don't
wait a
just
minute.
say
But
we talk about in general. Of course, a lot of this stuff isn't going to pertain to you personally, Kev, because you are you. But if you look at it,
this movie
the
goer.
films and TV shows after that, because what does Hollywood do? They're monkey see, monkey do. They see a successful model and they want to just copy it and copy it and copy it and copy to its just it's played out.
Ran the
So
ground.
you're just because I say this all the time. I use the same example. 50 Cent, what 50 Cent did with mixtapes, stuff like that, all the rappers coming after him tried to do it and couldn't do it because that ain't for you to do. They had their thing. Twilight, it already had a fan base going into the whole damn thing. And then it did successful. We know that. It was a successful franchise. But it definitely changed the feel of when people be making these vampire films and shows, because a lot of them are just kind of like Twilight, and Twilight isn't scary. So I mean, Vampire Diaries, the little bit that I saw of it was not scary. It's on the CW. How scary is it going to be? So
Yep.
wasn't scary. It's a soap opera with vampires. That's basically what it was. The soap opera with vampires and whatever else.
That's what I said. I give you True Blood because True Blood actually was scary. There were
True
poems in
Blood
True
has
Blood,
some.
and
True Blood has some.
and the
Maybe
guy
because
even told
also
you in
because
the
of
movie,
where it was. It was on a cable channel, so maybe.
yeah. But the guy told you in the TV show. He said you are here for us to eat. We're not trying to fall in love with you and have babies and I want to live forever. I'm trying to rip your throat out. That's what I'm trying to do.
You're all in love and have babies. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
direct
fall in
shot at
love and
Twilight.
I will
That
spend
must
the
have
rest
been
of
a
my life with
direct.
you. What
That
life? As
must have
soon
been
as
a
I bite you,
direct.
your life is
But
over.
but but
Yeah,
see but
it's
see,
over.
I mean, but everybody's acting like all of that is out the blue. I mean, even even what? God damn! Why can't I think now? Because you just made me laugh with that one, Ralph. Now I can't. Now I
Baby, I'm
can't
trying to
think.
rip your
Uh,
throat out.
it,
Uh,
uh,
I'm
no,
not trying
no,
to
uh,
no.
rip your throat out.
It's like this. At
but
its
even what's his
core,
face? But even what's his face on Bram Stoker's Dracula. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, it was scary, but I mean, the bottom line is Dracula was a love story.
Yeah, at its core, it is a love story. We know that, but at the same time, at its core, the story of Dracula is a love story. It is, but it's still horror.
It,
It's still rooted in horror. The love story is
but
the fact
I'm a
that starting with his character, the reason why he became Dracula is because of someone he loved, and years later you see the
but I'm gonna
person
even
that's
say it like this.
reincarnation of that person.
But I'm gonna say it like this. While yes, Dracula at the core is love story, it's only a love story between him and one person. Everybody else in it could get it. They can get it.
You damn right. You 100% right on that one. Everybody else can get it. Can get
Everybody
these
else was
fangs,
expendable.
motherfucker. You can get these fangs. Yeah, everyone else is expendable. That's true.
And
They
and,
are
and
expendable.
more so, Dracula, he was what? He was still having sex with people, right? He in love, but he's still having sex with people. And what did he do as soon as he had sex with him? Killed him,
Killed him.
or tried
Made
to
him his
turn him.
slave. Right, turn him. Yeah,
Yeah.
turn him. Yeah, exactly. Turn him. That's why he had his minions. the women, the vampiresses that just kind of
Mm-hmm.
stayed in the
Yeah,
yeah. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know
what
what I
poor,
I'm
mean?
saying.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
else is
poor,
expendable.
yeah, poor Keanu Reeves. Yeah,
Yeah, he's up in there getting
Yeah.
sex slaved and bitten by the vampiresses. Yeah. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I
And
think that
And think about that. Renfield wasn't getting nothing. Renfield getting
nope,
spiders.
Renfield
He
wasn't
wasn't
getting
involved.
nothing.
He wasn't getting
Renfield
jack.
couldn't get nothing. But yeah, like I said, I mean, all of that kind of comes into play. But you know, maybe if they would at least executed this better, at least our generation would have supported it. Because what happens is what people need to understand is it's really that's what it comes down to. You have basically three generations, well, no, four generations still walking this planet at one time. From the boomers to the Gen Zers, right? Is that 4 or 5? Boomers, then you got us, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. So four major generations walking the planet at the same time, and that's what it's going to come down to. You have to decide who you cater to, because you can no longer please. You never could please everybody, but now it's even harder to please everybody when you do films. So you need to just pick a side, pick a generation, and make the film and do it. And as far as marketing goes, you don't make a film for a generation. You make a film how you want to make it. I'm talking about marketing. So I believe if this would have been executed properly, maybe our generation would have supported it. Now, Netflix is looking to pick it up with Guillermo del Toro at the helm. Interesting. Now he might be able to do something with it. Because
uh,
he's actually developing a Frankenstein movie. Because like I said, these monsters are they're gonna be movies made about them forever. So he's developing a Frankenstein movie right now for Netflix, I think, and it should be interesting.
unfortunately,
Mhm.
these over the next 20 to 30 years, if they decide to make these films have to be made well, and they have to be made good,
Yeah.
because unfortunately, after our generation dies off
Mm-hmm.
and the last of us start kicking a bucket,
Mm-hmm.
just like our music and a lot of other things, some of this stuff is just going to go by the wayside. And
Well, I mean, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it is. A lot of
you
it
know,
is. Not even just some of it. A lot of it
I'm
is.
saying all of
But
it. I'm saying
yeah,
all
I
of it.
mean,
All
yeah.
of it.
It's gonna go because shoot, at
And
that time we're gonna
have
be like, yeah, you remember that Netflix show where you could choose your own adventure? That's what's gonna be TV in a few years, in 10 years. They're
yeah,
gonna be doing it like video games. They'll be like, oh, should he eat cereal or eat pancakes? Oh, let me make him eat pancakes. See what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be
no.
television.
Let me ask Siri.
Yeah,
Now it's gonna be like let me ask Siri. Siri, what should I have for breakfast today?
yeah. And those
That's what it's gonna
things
be.
that was what was that called? That was a Black Mirror movie. It was the only Black Mirror like movie on Netflix. Bender's Snatch or Bender's something it was called. And you literally, it was like you was playing a game. You literally decided some of his moves, his decisions, and depending on what you pick is how the movie would end. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got like a combination of different endings because you can choose your own adventure type deal. So that's that. But that was, I thought that was interesting. And of course, so the whole cast of getting on to the strike, right? The whole entire cast of Oppenheimer walked out on the premiere right before the screening. And this was like the day before the actual Screen Actors Guild officially went on strike. So this was, I guess, their way of showing unity and all of that stuff. And they decided to not stay for the screening in the Q&A and all of that that happens there. They did the red carpet and then they walked. They left Nolan to basically address the crowd and explain to the crowd why they don't see any of the stars on stage. He said it, he said basically my actors have went off to create their picket signs before this inevitable strike that there's going on. That's what he said. They're going to make their picket signs. And he said, you know what? He said, they're striking with one of my guilds, the Writers Guild. And he said, and they're all trying for, fair pay. And, we support them and we support them. And everybody started clapping. And that was that. But he had to explain where they went. And you're talking about a star-studded cast. Matt Damon, Josh Hartnett, Tom Cruise. Not Tom Cruise. Tom Conti. Then you got Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. So all of those, man, like big dogs, and he had to let people know, yeah, they're gone. Only people that was standing up there were producers. Because the only guild that's not striking, because they don't really have any issues right now, their contracts are good. The the Directors Guild and the Producers Guild are not striking, but obviously the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild is. And yeah, it's something that is. I think that was a nice little show of unity for everyone to do that. When you got a lot of people speaking out, Oliver Stone, he said he was shocked by that. He didn't think that was going to happen, but it is what it is. He commented on that. It says Oliver Stone was shocked by Oppenheimer SAG after strike cast walk out.
Yeah, I'm a little bit when you mentioned it to me earlier, I had a little bit of time to reflect on it, and it wasn't really necessary to do.
It was.
That.
Obviously they felt it was. If they felt it was, then it was.
No, I honestly, I think it was just look at the shock value. Look at what we did.
Of course, you
We
got to
did
do
that.
it for that. That's why you do it, for the shock value to turn heads, to let people know, we down, because what happens is you out here celebrating, not celebrate. Well, the people are there celebrating it. You're out here doing this film, promoting this film, when in 24 hours you're going to be out there with picket signs. So why indulge the hypocrisy? Just go out, just walk out.
But see, it's not. But see, that's the thing. It's not really a hypocrisy, and here's why. Because I would have thought that at the very least, at the core of it, they would have took the studio out of it and have been like, you know what, we and the director did this. So for the director, we're going to stay and watch this. I understand why they did what they did. No real gripe about it, but it would have. I don't. Anyway,
yeah.
People
No,
make
I think
decisions.
I think I get where you're coming from with that one. It's like the other one, the premiere of the Disney movie. Like they had the actors, the Haunted Mansion. None of the actors showed up, so they had the Disney characters come and walk the red carpet in their place. So I think what you say was, if you guys were going to walk off the red carpet, maybe you shouldn't even have went to the red carpet.
Exactly.
You should have just
go at all. Right.
Don't go at all. You
don't go at all.
And that's why I said it was somebody sat at home and was like, yo, it will really blow their socks off if we do it like this.
Yeah, but I agree with you on that. But where I don't agree with you is, number one, it's necessary if they feel it's necessary, and number two, of course they did it for shock value. That's what you do. What can you do that will turn people's heads, get the attention, get the headlines, without physically hurting anybody or anything like that. You ain't doing nothing crazy.
But at the same time, as my mother always says, there's a way to do things, and there's honey,
But
and
there's
then
no good
there's
way to
vinegar and salt. No,
strike.
no, 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 no. There is a
There's no
good way
good
to
way to
strike.
strike. You're
No,
striking.
there is a good way to strike if you're striking on the day that the strike is supposed to happen, and not like I said. Why even
But they
show up
didn't
to the
strike.
premiere?
They had to go
But
make their signs, like he said.
no, like he said, yeah, like he said. But what you could have did was you could have stayed your behind at home and made your signs. You didn't have to show up. It just to come and show out. And
I'm with it. I'm all for it because you know what? What are we playing nice for? They're not playing nice. What the hell you got to play nice for? Got to make your
no,
point. You got to turn
but
heads.
Yeah, I agree.
but see,
Don't.
I agree with
no,
that one.
but
You know what
I
I mean?
disagree with that. I
They're
disagree
not
with that.
playing nice, so what do we got to play nice for? It's like
But here's the point.
let's
Here,
just
but
make our point and get our
well,
point
but
out
here's the
there.
thing. They already got their point. They already made their point. They already had their point out there of why they were going to strike, and everybody knew it was coming up to it anyway. Because like I said, they were looking for an end to strike anyway. They were looking for a reason to strike, and valid points for striking. But at the same time, like I said, there's a way you do things. You rub people the wrong way going out. When you come back in, that you got to deal with those same people,
Yeah,
and
you do.
sometimes it
And that
causes
goes
business.
both ways. That
It
goes
does.
both
It
ways.
does go. It does go both ways. But why be on the defense where you could be on the offense?
No, I think this is on the offense. This is on the defense. This is making. Oh, they're already on the defense anyway because the studios basically slapped them in the face with the offer.
Well, of course they're gonna smack him in the face after that.
No, before that. The negotiations, all that stuff went on before that. That's what I'm saying. This was literally like 24 hours before they actually went on strike, but the negotiations was going on the day before, so it's like they probably got wind of what happened, and it's like, yeah, it's definitely going down, so let's do it. I mean, the bottom line is the studios, what do you gotta look out for them for? They don't need that. You don't need no sympathy for them, and you don't need to play nice because they're not playing nice. They said they're gonna starve these people out. Is that
But
playing
hold on, hold
nice?
on. But see, not
Yeah.
see again. We're saying studios plural, and that's my
Well,
problem with this.
the
Because it's
studios are
not all
all
the
no,
studios.
they're all in agreement. They are
Yeah.
all
They're all in
represented
here.
by one organization, and they are in agreement.
But
So
what I'm saying,
maybe one
no,
person
no, no.
said
What
that,
I'm saying
but
is,
no
yeah,
one
one.
has come out against him. So then they have to be in agreement. No one has come out and said, "I don't agree with that."
I think the only one
That
in agreement is
nobody.
Tyler Perry. So yeah.
I wouldn't say that nobody didn't come out and not say what he said was wrong. I'm pretty sure somebody said it. It's just not in a publication
Then it don't
somewhere.
matter. Then it
Then
don't
it don't
matter.
matter.
If it ain't in a publication somewhere, it don't matter because the other thing is in a publication. So if the last thing I read was one of the executives was talking about, they just kept it general, and they were just like, yeah, we offered them this, we offered them that, and we offered a groundbreaking AI proposal. And that's when they said that, that's why they got exposed. When the guy from SAG said the groundbreaking quote unquote AI proposal that you guys are talking about is the thing that we all heard about. It is, scanning background actors one time, paying them 1 day's pay, and owning their likeness forever. That's groundbreaking. So they just generalized it as that because they probably didn't know, or maybe they didn't think someone was gonna, expose them for what they actually said. So that yeah, I mean,
Which
I'm 100% with that, yo. You in something like this, you out there. It's just like if you out there picketing, you out there. There's only so much you could do when you picket. You can't do nothing that's gonna, physically hurt nobody. You can't impede people's progress, stuff like that. So you have to be loud. This was their way of being loud. That's all. Yeah, I'm here for it. Most 100%. Yeah,
I think it falls on deaf ears, and it was just stupid. It just you should have just stayed home. If you could have
it didn't
made
fall
the
on deaf
same.
ears. It's in all of the trades. It's that's not falling on deaf ears. All of the trades covered it. Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, all of those. They all reported it. So
Yeah,
they made
they
their
all
point.
they no they well they just rinsed and repeated. That's all they really did.
Right. Well, they all reported it. So so that's all you're trying to do. That's pretty much all you're going to get from it anyway. You're going to get publicity because think about it. How much can you do? They're not
But
really allowed to talk
I guess
about it.
but
So
I guess but that's all it is. It's a conversation piece. It's not really
then no,
having.
if it's a conversation piece, then they did what they
No,
were
no,
supposed to
but
do.
I mean literally. I mean the type of conversation piece that like if Ralph comes in and make a joke, we're going on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's not like what they did is going to like I said, to me, it just in my opinion, they hurt the director. They hurt. I'm pretty sure he was, but he made the statement that he said, and he stood in solidarity with his actors because he believes in his people and he supports them. But I know on the inside he was hurt by that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta suck it up. You're
But
part of this
I
too.
think if
You're a
he was hurt,
writer.
I think
He probably knew they were gonna
But
do it, but you're part of this too, dude. You're a writer, so you definitely
yeah.
what you hurt
no,
for.
no, no,
You
and
should
yeah,
be
and that's
out there
why he
too.
that's why he said what he said. But
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
but at the same time, there should have been there's a certain amount of decorum that they should have had, and to me they just didn't. They just didn't show it, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I honestly believe it was monkey see, monkey do, because one person said, "Okay, I'm gonna do it," and the rest of them like, "Well, I'm just gonna fall in line because I don't want to look like the I don't want to look like the standout." And have everybody looking at me crazy, like, why did you still go to premiere, even though it was a day before the strike? So
Hmm.
it was a monkey see, in my opinion.
I mean,
No,
I believe they just made the decision together. I don't know if they did it while they was standing there, while they were there. Maybe when they all came up there, they decided to do it.
oh no,
I don't know.
they planned it
And if they
beforehand.
planned it before, I mean, these actors don't talk to each other though, dude. They only work with each other. It's not like these half of them not even friends, like outside of work. So it's not like these people
But
half
this,
the time when you see these actors when they come together, they're like, "Oh man, I ain't seen you in this long time," because they go back to their lives. So the reason why I don't, unless maybe a mass email or something, but like or organized by someone like one of their people, but like I don't see them like on the phone or texting each other saying, "Hey, we're gonna walk
no,
out,"
it
because
was,
they don't half of them don't even communicate with each other like that. They work together, they're co-workers. They're not friends, not a lot of them. Some of them are, but they're not like they hang out, they friends. So it's like I think that could have been something that was organized. If it was organized beforehand and someone took the lead, like a manager, a publicist, or somebody decided to connect everybody on that. But I can see that being a decision that they made maybe while they were all there together, and I'm sure Nolan knew they were going to do it. But either way, it's just this, it's the same. It's pretty much the same effect as not showing up at all. It's just a different way of doing it. That's all. It's the same effect, because if no one from the cast showed up, that would have been news too. People would have been like, no one from the cast showed up. So that would have also been news. But yeah, I mean, this is war. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is. It's war. Yeah, they gotta be, they gotta be ready. Because if they talking about, shoot, starving people out and stuff like that, and they're willing to wait it out like that, that alone should tell you that you got to do what you got to do on your end. because these cats don't give a god dang.
Mm-mm.
I
They
mean,
don't care about you.
they don't give a god dang about you. They like, look, nope, we're just gonna do it this way. They tried to come out like, yo, we offered them this, and it was great, it was fair, it was monumental, it was this. Of course, you think that because you're making the offer, so you think.
And can we keep that a buck too? It's not even that they think that. They have to make this grand gesture to the public to make it seem like, well, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
why is this not enough? Well, did you listen? Did you listen to any of their demands or any of their requests of what they want to have
What they
happen?
want? Yeah, exactly.
Like a higher day rate for day
Yeah,
players. More compensation and
yeah.
not just taking my likeness and just using it 1,000 times and you're not going to compensate me for it.
Like I
I
said, you
mean,
gonna pay me $1 million and tell me to go away? Hey, I'm going away. Pay me $1 million if you want to
no,
use my
listen,
likeness.
nope, nope. Let me tell you something. Nope. Give me my million. And then I want every dime I'm supposed to get. If listen, I don't care if it's the year 2099. If my image shows up in a movie with dinosaurs and my head is getting bit off, listen,
I better have a check in the
my
mail.
grandkids need that check.
Yeah,
Cut the check.
Joseph, return to Joseph.
Oh, Joseph back?
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph.
Hey, return of
Good to see you
Joseph.
back.
We didn't see you last week. We missed you last week, buddy. Hope everything's good. Um, here's the quote from the AMPTA, the AMPTP, which is the organization that represents all of the studios. They're like the studios union, so to speak, right? The AM, one of the people they didn't say the name, but one of the associates from there, the press conference from the AMPTP, he says the AMPTP presented a deal that offered historic pay and residual increases, substantially higher caps on pension and health contributions, audition protections, shortened series option periods, and a groundbreaking AI proposal.
Wait. Not back up. Because you said something about retirement, but that doesn't really fall under the studio's purview unless you work for the studio.
Yeah,
That would fall under your
this is
union.
well, it depends, but they said it's substantially higher caps on pensions and health contributions. So it's just like a job. Your job contribute,
Their
right?
contribution
That's
into the
right to the thing, right? The job will
hmm
contribute. So like that. Um, in a groundbreaking AI proposal, a strike is certainly not the outcome we hoped for, as studios cannot operate without the performers that bring our TV shows and films to life. So that was the I don't know who it was. They didn't say who it was, but
I'm
that
gonna
was
tell you,
the
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna be like, you know what? Just for fun, we gonna make an AI movie with no real people.
right. Yeah. So then it says that was, I think, the statement that kind of prompted the person from SAG to tell you what this quote unquote groundbreaking AI proposal was. So, of course, like you said, they got to lobby to the public saying, hey, I don't know why they're doing this. We're not the bad guys. Everyone's got to play their position. So the AMPTP, which stands for the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, that's an organization that represents the major Hollywood studios, streamers, including Warner Brothers, Paramount, Netflix, Disney, and others. The AMPTP bargains on behalf of those studios with the major entertainment guilds, including SAG-AFTRA, WGA, Directors Guild, and the Directors Guild. So when Drescher and Crabtree negotiate on behalf of SAG, they are meeting with members of the AMPTP on the other side of the table. So that's for the people who may or may not know who the AMPTP is. They're pretty much the union for the studios. They represent the studios. So it's a lot of like I said, man, it's getting like it's just getting what's the word I'm looking for? It's heating up. It's heating up. So go from there.
Yeah, all your next TV season over. That's a wrap. Comic-Con's wrap.
Oh, Comic-Con's gonna suck. They just gotta go back to basics. Comic-Con's gotta go back to basics now. They gotta, like the true comic fans aren't gonna they're not gonna miss a step. And the cosplayers and all that, they're not gonna miss a step. They're gonna go there and actually the cosplayers might get even more attention now if you've dressed up like a character and you kind of look like the actor that plays that character. You're gonna get more attention and more pictures. But other than as far as because you gotta remember, let's remember that the film and TV stuff, where it's definitely very big, but the film and TV stuff was put into play to attract non-comic book fans to come to Comic-Con, right? So the comic book fans are still gonna go and enjoy Comic-Con because the real comic book fans, they lined up to meet writers and artists. That's what they want to go meet. They want to meet the artist who drew Spider-Man.
I mean, and the sad part is now this is affecting B and C list actors' money.
Yeah,
because the B and C list actors
said something like that too. Matt Damon said the quote unquote he called it the not the working actor. What did he call it? He said the middle class working actor. They get hit the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get hit the
hardest. The ones on the bottom, they at least got their regular day jobs to fall back on.
Right.
But the ones in the middle,
yeah,
they're the ones that really, because they get their extra money from doing Comic Cons.
Yeah.
And from because
I didn't think about that. That's a great point. I didn't think about that. They can, that's a little side hustle when they do these Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot all about that. I'm just thinking strictly.
I'm thinking about the fans. $20. You get $20 a picture.
Yeah,
and
you got $100 thousands of people out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's over.
And I had asked this question. A 3-day weekend. How many pictures have you taken? You know what I'm saying? In a 3-day weekend, you probably taken thousands of pictures.
Yeah. You might get a couple grand.
Yeah.
You might get a couple grand out that weekend.
Yeah.
And it's all cash too.
Yeah,
all cash
right to your pocket. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
So that's a wrap. But a friend of mine was talking about this, and I was saying, like, for certain people on television, I put this on our chat in our group about Steve Harvey, right? That Steve Harvey is the host of Family Feud. However, he is a union actor.
Yeah.
So
he's not gonna be able to do Family Feud.
Family Feud
is a television show.
Right.
It's a game show, but it's
so
still
he can't do it now. Yeah. Now the radio thing, I'm not even sure if he could even do the radio show because he could use that platform to.
He can do it. No,
he can do his radio show. He just can't talk about the strike. He can't go into detail about the strike. He can. The only thing they are allowed to talk about the strike is that obviously they're striking and the same things, because you're going to hear the same thing over and over again. We're fighting for pay. We're fighting for pay. The pay. That's all. Everything that everyone is saying. That's all they're allowed to say. They can't talk about any real things that was going on negotiation wise or anything like that. So, he'll be able to do his radio show. See, the fact that Steve Harvey is a multi-talented, multi-skilled person. He's a stand-up comedian. Now, stand-up comedians can still do stand-up comedy if they want to make money, if they needed to or want to.
Because he's his own talent.
Right.
He's his own writer. So
Yeah.
there's no,
That's true.
Yeah. Right. Stand-up comedy bits, unless it's for television, is not written by writers that are in the Writers Guild and nothing like that. It's just written by comedians. Even if you aren't the writer, if you're writing for someone else, stand up. Unless it's being broadcasted, it's not going to be written or considered part of the whole writers. It can't be broadcast. But if you write and stand up for somebody to go at the Laugh Factory and do a bit and collect a quick check, then no, you're good with that. So the comedians are in a decent place, especially the ones that are stand-up comedians. If they had to, like if they had to go back to the grind and go hit, the you could do a comedy club tour.
Well, to keep it a buck, any comedian worth his weight in salt is out there grinding anyway.
Yeah, they out there grinding, of course. And just to stick on Steve Harvey, remember though, Ralph, as you know, because he's on those shows, he's collecting residuals from all those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Family Feud is syndicated. Family Feud it has a lot of reruns and stuff like that goes on. Then you think
on
about
multiple channels.
On multiple channels. So he's collecting them checks. He can live off of that. He could live off of that, at least for now.
And it's summertime too.
I guess I said the same thing to people like Whoopi Goldberg.
And the talk show also. The talk show.
And remember too, with Family Feud, so a lot of that is pre-taped. So and it's the summertime, so they got Celebrity Family Feud that's going on right now. So a lot of that stuff is probably already pre-taped. So they'll be able to run a lot of that, and whenever they
anything that's already been filmed, they're gonna be able to run. But when like you were just about to say, he gets checks from that. Good for him. Yeah. What did you say about Whoopi Goldberg, Ralph?
Like the same thing like I said, Whoopi Goldberg. The View have been doing original episodes, but you're a union actor, so can you do that at show?
No.
Well, that's a talk show. It's like doing the news.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is their writing staff can't do anything, so they would have to take the topics and then go off the cuff, which is dangerous. At that kind of table.
Yeah. Now she can choose to just stand in solidarity and not go out there at all. That's just her choice.
But it's just like Good Morning America or anything else. I mean, you have writers, but it's
not right now.
Yeah.
But like you said, if it's more like Go ahead, bro.
Well, the reason I was saying that, like when they came to this, is because when the writers went on strike, like John Oliver and all them, who are comedians and they can write this stuff themselves, but they have a writing staff. But when the writers went on strike, all those shows went into hiatus. Like not only John Oliver, but like not Jay Leno, Jimmy Fallon, all of them went in there. Right. So while the View does not have a set of writers, like you're doing the show now, with the fact that the actors are strike, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is a union actor, and I can say the same for
but her doing talk show is not acting, though. That's the only difference.
But wait. But one of the things is appearances, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though she's not acting, she is made an appearance. So
but it's not an appearance for promotion though.
It's an appearance for pay. I have to look that up to be completely honest with you. I have to look that up. I think it depends on where the View falls as far as TV shows, because it's not actually news. It's not a news show.
It's a talk show.
It's a talk show. But yeah, a talk show is still television. So That's still making an appearance
Exactly.
because they got instructions to not even make appearances on talk shows.
Exactly. So
Um,
so if you have that
very
I'm saying,
instruction,
but see, but again, that in context, that was for actors not to show up on shows to do promotional stuff or anything. But if your regular gig is a daytime talk show host, again, I didn't see nothing in the rules that said the daytime talk show host can't, because that's like saying that news anchors can't do the news.
well,
news
no,
anchors aren't
that's
in the
different
union.
thing. Right, right. But Whoopi Goldberg is someone that is certainly a union actress, and if you're going to
But
sit there
Judge,
and say, if you're going to sit there and say that actors aren't allowed to make appearances to do comic cons or to do a radio interview or TV interview, how are you going to sit there and give Whoopi Goldberg the pass to do a talk show
because
on
again, it's
television?
because it's it's political. Political. Well, yeah, I'll use that word for just in this instance. It's commentary. It's basically it's basically like if we were all actors and we were going live right now, and we're just talking film. So we could sit down and talk film. What we can't do is we can't what's the term I'm looking for? What they're doing is not acting. I'll put it like that. This is their real life views, their real life opinions. So it's a talk show. It's talk. That's why it's
Yeah,
called The View.
but like
It's my
Their view, right?
it's a
yeah,
different
but like
viewpoint
I
of
get
each
that, but like I
individual
just
left
said,
there.
I got that, but like I just said, all the other talk shows that are on television are on hiatus. You will not get a new episode of Kimball or any of them,
Well,
right?
no,
They
but
all
that's but
they
see,
all of them.
but that's different because they actually have writers writing for their show, whereas you have like a Tamron Hall, for example, like Whoopi Goldberg and them. They fall under the same category, in my opinion, as Tamron Hall or Jennifer Hudson or who's the other one, or Kelly Clarkson, or any one of those that have a daytime show that it's just it's just daytime programming where they're just either interviewing guests
I know I
or
no,
it's or it's political commentary.
I mean,
no no I see
we'll
I
see
understand it.
once the shows come back, and we'll see for sure.
Right.
But what?
Because I mean, Kat, I understand what you're saying, but when you say like people like Tamron Hall and Kelly, none of them are actors. They're not an actor. Whoopi Goldberg is, and I would say the same thing as
So is
Joy Behar,
Barrymore, Drew
Drew
Barrymore,
Barrymore, what's her name?
and
The
even
show that
even J Hud. She's an actor as
Jennifer
well.
Hudson.
Yeah. She's an actor.
They like saying they're all actors. Oh, so if you're going to sit there and say you can't act, even though it's a different medium, but
But
because you are an actor,
but
yeah,
again, it's not acting. You follow what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, but and this is just my opinion, because I didn't see anything in there that said it was limited to that if you're a talk show host, if you're hosting your own show where you're interviewing guests, that's not acting. That's like it's real life. It's not make believe. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, what you can't do is like Jennifer Hudson couldn't have the cast from Oppenheimer show up on her set and they just start talking about the show, the movie. Like that, they can't do because the actors aren't allowed to do any kind of promotional stuff. So, but you do pose an interesting question. I mean, I, I, I don't know. I guess maybe it's standing out of solidarity. Maybe they don't work.
They might just do it anyway. Yeah, they might do it anyway. Now, here's something I'm reading here, and let's just read. It says here, this is the SAG after This is what they sent out to them. It says, except as set forth in the notice of members regarding non-struck work, all covered services and performing work under the TV/theatrical contracts must be withheld, including but not limited to principal on camera work such as acting, singing, dancing, performing stunts, piloting on camera aircraft, puppeteering, performance capture, or motion capture work. Principal off camera work such as
Voiceovers.
ADR, looping, TV trailer promos, theatrical trailers, voice acting, singing, narration, including audio descriptive services such as the services may be covered by another collective bargaining agreement referred to notice of members regarding non-struck work. Stunt coordinating, relative services, background work, stand-in work, photo, body doubles, fittings, wardrobe tests, makeup tests, rehearsals, camera tests, scanning, interviews, and auditions, including self-tapes. Then it says
makeup.
promo and publicity services for work under the TV theatrical contracts, such as tours, personal appearances, interviews, conventions, fan expos, festivals, for your consideration events, panels, premieres and screenings, award shows, junkets, podcast appearances. Damn, that sucks. And
So now wait, I want to pause because now that touches on what Ralph was just talking about. So now that means if they can't do podcast appearances, that must mean
and they can't even do social. Hold that thought, Kev. I got like 2 more of these bullets left. Social media, studio showcases.
There you go.
Yeah, and it says, negotiating and entering into considering an agreement to perform covered services in the future. Any new agreement related to merchandising connected to and covered projects, the creation and use of digital replicas, including through the reuse of prior work, performing on a trailer or of a struck production or other ancillary connected to the struck production. Yeah. So go ahead, Kev. Yeah, they said social media podcast appearances. Damn.
So if you can't do a podcast appearance, that means that I would assume that would mean that you can't show up. You can't be a guest on Steve Harvey show.
No, right. You can't be guest on. But with that being said, out of all of that list, we still have to get clarity because it doesn't say talk show host. It doesn't.
No,
say
it doesn't.
That.
It doesn't.
It didn't say that. That wasn't on the list, and I'm sure that would be on the list if that's what they didn't want you to do. Because I guess, like you said, Kev, or you mentioned it briefly, if that is your job, maybe they're not considering that. Long as you're not doing a performance on a talk show, that you can appear on a talk show.
And that might be covered, and I think that might be covered under another union. That might be covered under the same union as
I don't know what studio showcases. What does that mean? It doesn't say.
Remember, like back in the day when ABC would used to do, they had like their fall announcement.
Yeah,
they would have all the actors come out or Battle of the Network Stars, probably something of that nature.
Yeah, maybe
where
something
Paramount would bring out all the actors for the winter movie seasons, like show
I
Rush
used
or
to
something.
love that. I used to love that stuff, man. Battle of the Network Stars. That was fun. That was a fun show. That was a fun show.
You never see that again. And then I'm sure people are talking about what was Battle of the Network Star. I'm talking about about all the good stuff you guys that you'll never see.
And you know what, and that goes back. I don't mean to circle back to the monster thing, but that's what I mean. Like like that little brief bit of a nostalgia that we just felt
Mhm.
is what is what's missing. That that that
Yeah.
that little I hate to say feeling, but that feeling when you sit down, like I could still sit down and watch the original Wolfman movie
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just be chill, and
Yeah.
it's black and white. Whereas my daughter will come out here and look at it and be like, "Why
That's
you
all.
watching that? Why?
That's all.
I'm not
It's
going to use
all.
my daughter because my daughter has a broad. She does watch a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna take her
That's
off.
old. That's
My ex-wife, TJ, she wouldn't watch nothing in black and white. Anything in black and white, it was like a cancer to her. Like,
yeah.
why are you watching that old stuff? We should be just be watching up to date new stuff. Like, this is a classic,
Yeah, it's a
and
classic. Yeah. That's like
but
12 Angry Men. 12 Angry Men is a classic. Oh, let me rephrase it. So here's something that's interesting. Going back to that list, production of or slash publicity services for work under the TV theatrical contract, such as we already said tours, personal appearances, interviews, but it says here panels. Panels. I wonder,
well,
is that
well,
does
a
that
panel that would fall under news. That would be
yeah,
like you can't
the
show up
panel.
on CNN
Right.
or Tamron
Yeah.
Hall, or you can't show up
Yeah.
on any of that.
So panels might cover it. That might cover the view as well. That's a panel. It's a panel of people giving
No,
their
yeah,
view,
Yeah.
that's true.
right?
True.
So
True.
that's possible. I want to get some clarity on that. I'm gonna try to. Oh man, I'm gonna try to reach out to some actors, and maybe they might know some of the SAG actors that I know. Maybe they might be able to give some clarity on that. Because I think panels might cover it. There's
Yeah.
nothing else on this list that covers it. So panels might. Because like we said before, the view, those type of shows, the view, the talk, and this that they toe the line. They're not news. They talk about news sometimes. They talk about
And they
current,
talk
current
no, not sometimes, all the time.
right. They
It,
talk
it,
about news, but it's a
and
panel. But they're all giving their opinions.
opinion,
They're
yeah.
not giving just the news. Whereas the news is given what is supposed to be just the news, including weather and traffic and stuff like that. So panels might cover it because we don't see, which I didn't expect to see, news shows on
I
here.
think that's a different angle. I think
Right,
that's a different union.
that's a different union.
I think
It
that's
is.
vastly different.
Yeah, it's a different union. It's not Screen Actors Guild. So it's very interesting. Panels could cover it. I wouldn't be surprised if Whoopi just said, you know what, because it's not like because Whoopi has participated in some films, recently. She's done a couple of things, and she might just say, you know what, I'm just gonna chill. Because what happens is she might also think, you know what, if I do, even if I am allowed to go, if I go, I'm just gonna get bombarded with people asking me about the strike.
But you know what? It's also what the studio. It's also what ABC decides to do with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and if they even, I like again, I don't know how that would fall because on that whole panel, I think except for one other lady, I think Whoopi is the only actor on there.
yeah.
I think Joy Behar is also an actor.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she's
Joy Behar. Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know, and I doubt if they're doing rerun. I don't see that's my problem is I don't really watch daytime TV, really too tough. So I don't really know what outside of
Yeah.
popular news clips that may come out about whatever somebody might have said on the show or something. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't really like follow.
Mm.
And that's Ralph brought up a pretty good point. Like,
That's a good point. I'm only finding so far stuff about the writers' strike. They addressed obviously the writers' strike, and Whoopi Goldberg addressed the audience about the writers' strike and said from that day forward they will not have writers on the show. while the writer's strike started. But that was that. They haven't said anything about they haven't I can't find anything about the SAG strike, not yet at least.
Well, if you haven't heard anything from her, then it ain't an issue.
Here, let me see. Uh what's this here? 9 hours ago. Like the soap operas and game shows and news shows, we work under a different kind of contract. Okay, so there's the answer. I like the good. This is from Whoopi. Does Whoopi say this? Somebody said it. It says like soap operas and game shows and news shows. We work under a different kind of contract, which is called the network code, which means that we are allowed to continue on. She says,
Oh, okay.
as we're so that means Steve Harvey too on Family Feud, as we're not actors at the table acting. The View, they said The View, it's a different kind of context, so that's why we're still able to work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go. So just took a little looking, a little research, and we got it.
Yeah, because I would have found it odd that they would have included that because I didn't see that in the rules that the closest thing that that they had in there was the other thing about panels, but a panel is technically a panel is CNN, like when
Yeah,
they
like
call them,
you said, like if they bring somebody on and say we're going on the panel now, and we got so and so as our guest.
right.
Yeah. Here's something else I want. This is interesting. This is
Oh,
all.
hold up, Wes. Before you say that, please just hold that. I just want to add this one piece. The reason why they they allow them they don't allow them to do panels is because you still get a credit. The actor still gets a credit for that. When you
Oh,
when you
really?
look up their when you look at their IMDb and you look at appearances, that will show up as a credit on there. They might not it might not be something that they get paid for, but they still actually get a working credit for that for showing up on a show. Like it'll say like show up on Jimmy Kimmel as Self, or show up on I don't know, the Jon Stewart show as Self.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that one. All right.
Okay. So here's something on Variety put out. SAG after strikes FAQs. How the rules apply to influencers, journalists, cosplayers, and more.
Jesus
So
Christ. Here we go.
here we go. It's gonna be interesting. He said, okay, so here's what people have questions. So here's the question. I'm a film critic. Can I review movies? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Critics are not on strike and are not obligated to stop.
They're considered news. It's like
Right,
news.
it's news. I am an entertainment journalist. Can I cover movies and TV?
Again,
Yes.
that's news.
That's news. Yes, entertainment journalists, whether they belong to a union or not, are not on strike. Right? Then I am an entertainment journalist. Will any actor talk to me about their project? Probably not.
No.
That would be promoting struck work.
Mm-hmm.
They may talk about why they're on strike though. And it says here, what if an actor wants to talk about their project and sets up the interview through their personal publicist and not through the studio?
They're not allowed to even do that. They can't strike any deals.
That's still not okay. According to SAG-AFTRA, the WGA softened on this after a few weeks. The WGA softened on this after a few weeks. SAG-AFTRA has not.
Right. SAG is like, go ahead, make a deal if you want to. For anything. For anything. Listen, that thing was clear. It said for any future work.
Any future work, yeah.
So you can't do nothing. You can't talk about the past, present, or future. You just got to
even if it's in the can.
Right, if it's in the can, it don't matter.
Say nothing.
I don't belong to a SAG-AFTRA. How can I show my support for the strike? Someone just said, you can post on social media.
Make
blah,
a
blah, blah. Yeah, make a bigger sign. Get your ass out there and help. Should I boycott Netflix? Neither WGA or SAG has called for any boycotts on Netflix or any other platform. and it won't make much a difference anyway if you do it on
What,
your own.
listen, you're boycotting for what?
Yeah, that's
So
what
you're missing out on content because
yeah,
why?
yeah, right. So can SAG after members do reality shows or game shows?
No.
No,
Nope.
actually, yes.
What?
The union
Really?
has helpfully put out a document listing all the things that SAG after performers can still do, including
Oh.
appearing on reality shows and game shows. They
Uh-oh.
can also do commercials, video game
Commercials.
work. Yeah, they can also do commercials, video game work, and talk shows. They can do that. Remember, we said talk show wasn't on that list. Remember?
Right.
And so that's actually interesting. I'm glad we found this article. So they can do
But
commercials, they can do
wait
video
a second.
game work, and they can do talk shows. Because doing a commercial is not working for a studio. That's working for a particular company
Yeah, it's a brand.
and a
That's
production
different.
company.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like an independent production, a brand. Like if
It's like if you
BMW,
work for
BMW hires
Mhm.
everybody. It's going straight through BMW. They're not going to no studio and having a studio put this together. They're putting the money together. They'll hire like maybe a individual production company to shoot it, and then they hire the actors. So that's
BMW
independent
is
work.
actually the one that's paying for it.
Right. They're the
It's
ones
all
paying
said and
for
done.
it. So you can do commercials.
But what I just don't get in what you just said is that they saying that you as an actor that you're on strike, you can do a commercial, but you can't do a podcast.
Yeah, that's what it says. Well, it says talk shows, but maybe they mean you can't start your own podcast. Maybe that's what they mean.
Well, wait a second. Now, if you start your own podcast, do you or do you not fall into the category of like Whoopi Goldberg, where you're offering your thoughts, but you're not offering them as an
I don't
actor?
know. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But they just said that's what that podcast was on the list. So I don't know. But talk shows apparently wasn't.
I need there has to be something out there that has clarity on that because
Yeah.
you can't just say you can't do podcasts. What does that mean? No podcast at all? Does it mean I
I
can't
don't
show
know.
up
That's
on
what I'm
Joe
saying.
Rogan?
I don't. Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what that means, or does that mean they don't want you doing your own podcast? I don't know. So here's the real interesting question. I'm an influencer. Can I promote movies and TV shows? And it says here's where it gets tricky. Most influencers are non-union and are not subject to any strike rules, but some of them do work under the SAG after influencer agreement, which is new. I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know they had an influencer
I never heard of that one
agreement.
before.
That's new. It's got to be new. It's got to be super new. The SAG after influencer agreement, or may want to someday, and those influencers have been asked not to promote struck work, i.e., movies and TV shows, either for pay or quote unquote organically. However, if an influencer already has a contract to promote something, the union advised them to fulfill the obligations of the
They have
contract.
to. Yeah, they have to.
Right. They are also free to influence on any other subjects if they're an influencer. Can I do cosplay? If you're not in the SAG union, go right ahead. They said, if you're not in the SAG union, go right ahead if you want to do cosplay. If you're a SAG after, look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I promoting struck work? Then no. And
that's just the bottom line.
so Ryan Reynolds, you can't cosplay as Deadpool.
Or you can't cosplay as anything.
Yeah, as anything.
Listen, I mean, the bottom
Am I
line is
promoting
struck work.
Because everything is struck work at this point. And then I'm independent producer. Can I get a waiver to keep making my project? Yes. SAG after calls this an interim agreement, and you'd be agreeing to adhere to the final terms of whatever deal the AMPTP reaches with the union, you also have to be truly independent of the AMPTP companies. So basically, people like us, we can continue to make movies.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But the caveat to that is
You
if
can't
they
say
agree
that.
to a certain if they agree to a certain pay structure, whatever the case may be,
You
you
have
got to
to
make sure
you
that your
gotta make
budget is
sure you
able to
do that.
cover that.
Right. You gotta make sure you can cover that. Exactly. What happens if I break the strike rules?
You're done.
If you do it right,
In the
exactly. If you
in the
do it
word,
inadvertently, some will probably tap you on the shoulder. Someone will probably tap you on the shoulder and remind you
really hard.
not to do that again. But the union absolutely has the power to enforce its strike rules. Penalties may include censure, reprimand, fines, suspension, and or expulsion. If you're
Or
if
or
you're
in the
not
words of Hellboy, your house can burn down too.
right,
Yeah,
if you're
man.
not a
I was
member,
cracking up when I saw that. I was
it
like, he
says
said,
here, yeah, he said it right. If you're not a member and perform struck work, you will be barred from joining the union in the future. So that's what that one girl was talking about. She was like, y'all listen up so you don't get
Don't
get
mess around. Don't mess
she said
around and
don't
lose
get
your health
canceled.
benefits.
She's like, don't get canceled. And she was talking about people, he's like actors, she's talking about actors that aspire to
To be
right to be that. So here's the deal. Independent actors. I know you probably watching this show waiting for this answer. Independent actors, you can continue to work on independent films. What they don't want you to do is promote struck work, right? And struck work means anything to do with Hollywood, basically. So if you are truly an independent and you're not backed by any of the studios or anyone that's represented by the AMPTP, you can continue to do your films. That's not an issue. They're not gonna I mean, let's be honest. The SAG is trying to make their point, but they ain't trying to take food out of actors' mouths.
but
If actors are doing
here's the thing. This is not a license for you directors and producers out there to just go willy wonky and do what the hell you want to do and not follow rules because they still will come for you.
well, I mean, well, the thing is, if you're not in the union, it's all about how you do things, how you approach things. Let's just use for example people who are just content with doing. There's a lot of people that are content with just doing their and more of the filmmakers, not the actors. The actors always want to go further and get higher. There are a lot of filmmakers that are content and making money doing independent films and making a nice living doing it. And they have nothing to do with Hollywood. They're on Tubi, they're on YouTube, they're on these different places, and they're making money and they're content with that. You have nothing to worry about, period, because there's nothing they can do about that. You're not promoting struck work anyway. You're actually doing your own thing. So then you have actors that, if you're an actor, so now I'm gonna think about, let's just say, I'm wondering, that still goes back to my original question on none of this. If you're in the union, you can't deal with none of it. You can't even go act in an independent film. I don't think so. You can't do none of that stuff. You
I
can't
don't
act.
think so neither.
You can't perform on camera for anything, even if it's an independent film that's gonna appear on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't want you to do it. Whereas you might be able to find a loophole that it doesn't fall under what's called struck work, but just don't even indulge in it. Just leave it. But people who are not in the union, they're not SAG eligible. They're not like they have they're like they're nowhere near being in the union. I am not gonna sit here and tell these people don't go act in a film, independent film. Now, if you go act in a film for Netflix because they're just replacing people that's non-union and doing a union movie, that's a whole nother story. Now you're scabbing. Now you're scabbing. It's just like if Netflix hires a writer just because they're not in the Writers Guild. They just want to start hiring writers right out of college to write their stuff, which they have a right to do. They can do that if they want to. You know, that may not be the best thing. Some people might say, screw it. I mean, you gotta think of it. You gotta keep it real, bro, with this situation. Like, life is life, yo. You can't you might, I'm playing devil's advocate here. You can't live if you're not nowhere near being in the union. You may aspire to be in the union one day if you get that big break, but you can't live your life like that. You can't live your life thinking I might get that big break one day soon, maybe might.
Well, hell, listen,
And stop creating because of that. You can't do that.
Listen, forget the later for the I might get the big break. It's the can I, what do I got to do to still afford? Because a lot of people keep their jobs to keep paying their dues because they get their benefits and everything through 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 SAG. So they got to keep them dues up. And
once you're in the union, I'm talking about people that are not in the union.
Oh, not in
I'm
the
talking
union.
about non-union. I'm not talking about the union actors. The union actors they need to follow the rules and abide by it, even if it sucks. That's with any union you're in. You know, like I said, God rest the dead. My father worked for UPS for 35 years. When I think he went through 2 strikes with them. His union, local 804, they were striking. You know, when he went through the strike, he had to go through it. That shit, we were struggling, but you know what I'm saying? He was driving cab and, doing whatever else he could do to make a little bit of money. My mother had to pick up. But the point is, he had to do it. He didn't like it. So, yeah, if you're in the union, yes, you have to do it. But I'm talking about non-union actors that's not in the union at all. And you can't expect them, and that's for anybody. You can't expect them to sit back and not create. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen because it is what it is. And independent filmmakers, such as the filmmakers that are, let's just say, on Tubi. There's a lot of filmmakers on Tubi that's making decent money, nothing like Hollywood money, but they make a decent money that they're content with, or whatever the case may be. They're not gonna stop doing that. Because you could sit here in this independent world and make your films and no one will really even care about it out there. And then once this whole thing is over, you can always start appealing to those. I think the only thing you would get affected by is if you're a truly independent, you make a movie, independent. Now, nothing has to do with any, it's definitely not struck work. But then you go and strike a deal with one of the studios for that work, then that might be something that's gonna affect you later. Because now, once you do that, you're part of that machine. You know what I mean? But at the same time, how many people are gonna really think about that either? If you got a deal on the table, I even put myself in the situation. It's like, yo, you got to think about that. You got to at least think about it. So if Netflix is like, oh, we're hungry for content, man, I love that groupie show you got. We're gonna give you so and so amount of dollars. We want to put that on our platform. You don't think I'm gonna think about that? Of course. You can't not. You can't not think about it. It's like, because you got, that's why SAG you got some actors that are saying that because they're just really reaching out to influence. Because at first I was about to say, when I first saw the influencer comment, I was like, I wasn't really with that. I was like, you can't tell these influencers that. But I didn't realize that there's a SAG influencer contract. That's news to me. That's got to be very new.
It's probably very new. And guess what? That only falls if you decide to take that. And listen, and I understand the union. Listen, go out and get your money where you can get it from. Because really, that's all that is a money grab. Because they see all the money being made on a digital platform, and they're like, well, hey, why can't?
But yeah, I mean, it's all about money. I wouldn't just call it a money grab because there are struggling actors. There are a lot of actors that's not even
No, no,
not even making ends meet.
listen, no. I'm talking
So
about
I don't really
for
call it a money grab.
no, but it is for the union because it's more money coming into the union.
Well,
That
I mean,
those influencers, depending on how big of a following they get and how long that following lasts.
oh, you're
That,
talking
that
about the contract, the union
yeah, the
influence
union
contract.
contract. Yeah.
The influence. Oh yeah, of course. Well, what the union, what it is just like that's just them trying to get a hold on
they're broadening
stuff
it.
that they can't control. No, it's
Yeah.
really it's over so they can. It's just like how the government is mad because they can't control the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And if an influencer is comprised of the internet, so this is SAG's way of they did it with the independent films. The way they were trying to keep number one, SAG actors from
Going
using the
out doing and working
right,
without
working without right, exactly using the loopholes and working in independent films because there are loopholes. So using the loopholes and working in independent films, this was their way of they're using their clout at the same time because they're saying, hey, you can get with SAG, you could be a quote
and this
unquote
is what
SAG signatory company, which
and,
really means nothing. It just
and this is what really eggs me about the unions. I mean, the homegirl made her speech and everything, but I mean, for the public's consumption, the union actually gets paid twice. They get paid from the actor,
Mhm.
and then whatever film they on has to pay a fee. So anyway,
No. The film don't have to pay. I mean, when I did Playing Dirty, I didn't have to pay SAG anything. It's I mean, it's they get the money from the actors. They're getting the money because their actors are on it. So they're encouraging you to hire SAG actors. That's why they're extending the contract. They even made this contract for independent filmmakers like us to say, hey, I can get SAG actors. What is your benefit of getting a SAG actor? Well, you may get a little more quality actors, you get a more experienced actor. That's your benefit, so to speak. And SAG will sanction your project and you'll become a SAG signatory company, which really means nothing, but it just basically means they co-sign in your project. They basically say, yeah, they could do that. But and you could use SAG actors.
but
But that was only
I
put in
still,
play to get people to but what I'm saying from our end as the producer or production company, they only take money because we hired SAG actors. Because you don't do it otherwise. Why would you do it if you're not going to hire SAG actors? And then you can use it also. You can use their clout to get actors to, it's like a little thing. Like even with the what's it called? The voucher, the waiver, the Taft Hartley waiver.
yeah for the
Yeah,
actor, yeah.
right. The Taft Hartley waiver. You can actually use that as a bargaining chip with non-union actors. They may be SAG eligible or not yet. They may have two waivers. They may have one waiver. They may have none. But you can they'll take they may you can use it as a bargaining chip. Maybe they'll take less money because they know that if they do this, they're gonna get a Taft Hartley waiver because you're a SAG signatory company. So you have it has its benefits of doing it. Now the downside is it's a pain in the ass. It's a complete pain in the ass to do the paperwork and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's a
We had
lot
to
of
do
people.
we had to do with all of that crap when we did Playing Dirty, and it was really a pain in the neck. I had to do it again with Groupie. It's a pain. So and then and another downside is if something goes that SAG don't like, now they're like, here I am. I'm not even in your union, and you are impeding on my project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's all it takes is one complaint.
One
And
complaint from the
and
SAG
and,
actor.
and guess what? No, and not necessarily. Necessarily, that complaint doesn't have to come from a SAG actor.
Nah, it
That
has to
complaint.
because if you're not under there, if you're not a signatory company and that project doesn't fall under their umbrella at all, they can't do nothing to you.
No, 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 no. You're not following what I'm saying.
Mm.
The way it kind of sort of works with unions is if you get somebody that's on the electrical union, see
Mm-hmm.
something crazy going on
Right.
with the actors, and nobody's coming forward to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
That other union member, even
Oh
though he's
yeah,
not,
if someone reports you to SAG or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah. It doesn't necessarily what you're saying, it doesn't necessarily be an actor. It could just
right,
be anybody on that set reports to SAG that you're treating the actors bad or
yeah, they'll
there's
show
some
up
sort of
immediately. Where there'll be representatives. It's
and
shit.
that's
They
why
might be in your living room.
that's the risky part because everyone is so opinionated now and we're in a time and age where everything offends people, so something could go down between two people. That's like at a job with sexual harassment, right? Like literally you and I could tell you a dirty joke, Kev, if we work in the same office. Someone who we wasn't even talking to heard it and take us to HR
Yep.
because that's
Yep.
quote unquote sexual harassment, which to me is ridiculous. But it is what it is. But that's the same thing when it comes to these things, right? It's like, oh, maybe the actress, and y'all got a friendship, like a relationship, a friendship. So maybe I played around, or you played around with that person. You did a little something, whatever, even flirt or whatever. I'm just saying, using that as an
Kiss her
example.
on the cheek. You just
Complete.
kiss her on the cheek.
Yeah, you just
Man, you
kissed her on
just
the
kiss
cheek,
her
and you got offended.
on the
The other
cheek,
person got
and then someone say,
offended.
"Oh, well, you see harassing her,"
Yeah, you
not
harassed
knowing
her.
that,
She
that
didn't
you
want
actually
that.
know this woman.
Right.
You didn't
Exactly.
get her permission.
Right. Right. So
You
that is
violated. You violated her space.
I violated a
Yeah.
space. You didn't get a permission. You did this. You did that. I mean, hell, there's just when I do films, I take pictures with my actors all the time. When I'm on set behind the scenes, I take pictures. We sit up and tell. Like I said, I'm about to do the Keanu. I ain't touching none of these chicks. They gonna come out and try to hug me. I'm gonna have my hand out like this, and you're gonna be able to see my
Nope.
hand. And doing the Keanu Reeves, boy. But
Said later for Keanu Reeves, we do the Terminator 2 with the gay dude that the Arnold Schwarzenegger when he walked to him, he said, "Talk to the hand."
nah, I'm saying so. But what I'm saying is those things have now you can even if with someone that is fully invited and welcoming it, it's like you got to worry about someone else now looking at that and getting offended. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he hugs all his actors. So if they hug
He
me,
don't hug me. He
They
don't
don't
hug.
have me.
they hug me. You know. So if they hug me and I hug them back, now I'm offending people. So that's the downside of doing the SAG thing. As an indie, I'm talking strictly as independent producers.
And the sad part is, if somebody wants to derail you, that's how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, and they could just be hating to
Yeah.
derail you. You know, it's crazy. I've had people personally do that to me, hating on me. There was a situation where I told you this offline, Kev. I won't name any names, but there was a situation where an actress that I worked with, who we was mad cool on set, had good vibe, whatever. But her boyfriend, her significant other, her boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever he was, he was not feeling the fact he was mind you, they've only been dating for like, I don't know, 6 to 9 months or something like that. And he's going through her timeline that's over a year old and seeing pictures of me and her hugging on set. And he's like, oh, and then he decides he wants to patrol my page, start going through my page. And from what I understand, he said, oh, this guy, he must be harassing these girls or something like that. He says, he's like, basically, all he does is take pictures with the girls. And
Well, who else is he supposed to take pictures?
we want me to take pictures with the niggas?
I can't. You want me as the number?
Yeah,
Jailhouse photos.
No, but no, was he? Yeah, he's like, oh, so he basically tried to paint me to her as a scumbag. Like I must be using my quote unquote power, which I don't have any power, but my quote unquote power to, get it. And he accused her of sleeping with me. And this long story short, my point is that's someone who personally took that whole situation, looked at some pictures, went through my timeline, looked at some pictures. It was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then said that. Crazy, right? So that's the
No, it's not.
downside.
I'm gonna tell you what.
You get
No,
that
it's
all
not.
the time.
I get the same. I get the exact same problem. This guy, he got all these pictures with these girls. And girls be walking through his room. Like one dude came into my room one time.
That's
and
just
we
amazing.
right, and it was a bunch of people, but there was like 2 girls walking around naked, and he felt all out of shape. Now his girl over there in the corner, fully dressed, right? But he's like, oh well, he must be using us. Why did the girl get naked? Because they feel comfortable in my room. Sorry, this is. I'm sorry. This is the nature
I
of the
would have
business
been like,
that
I'd
we
been
are
like,
in, right?
I'd be like, nigga, could be about that.
But you know what it was? It was the fact that he and this is a problem in my other field. This is the problem is that guys seem to think, oh, my girl is in this business, so whatever she's involved, I'm going to be involved. And no, you're not invited. You're outside the door.
Listen,
How you going to hate
that's
him
something you
outside the
should
club
know. If
because
you're
we're not
dating
letting you in?
someone from that world, you should know how that world works. That's number one. You should be. Most of these people get into these situations, though, Ralph, as I'm sure you know. Most of these people get in these situations and think they can handle it, and they really can't.
Yeah, they really can't.
That's the problem.
Because I'm gonna tell you, if it was me, I'd have been like, you know what, go step outside because we about to.
No, I'm not even going there because see, once you do that one, right, then you become this whole other person. Then realistically speaking, to some degree, you may very well be validating what this guy think. Oh, well, it really is what I'm thinking. Not ain't no, bro. I'm a business person.
But see, even with that, with that situation, you kind of sort of you got to put it on the person's spouse and be like, yo, go check your check your dude or your girl.
That's what you gotta do.
They're acting crazy right now.
What's up with your boy?
Yeah,
I mean,
because he's gonna be asking her. He's gonna be asking her, well, why didn't he invite me? Because I don't know you, dude.
Like when old girl brought her boyfriend on the set of Playing Dirty. Dude don't know he was about to get it, like from different angles.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me. Like
it was when Zasha brought her boyfriend on set. It was like knowing that she wasn't supposed to, that was not a good. And plus, he's on set acting like a jerk. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're gonna go on set and chill in the corner and be a fly on the wall and not say nothing, I still don't want you there. Thing. But at least you ain't disrupting my.
Be an extra. Be something. Be productive.
Get in there and work. Forget being extra. Pick up a damn cord.
Pick a wire up. You're gonna get my minivan talking about. You're gonna get my minivan talking about. Are you the Uber driver? I said, do I look like an Uber driver? Wow. I said, nah, I ain't the Uber driver. I said,
you know what? You can get the hell out of my car and call an Uber. You can do that.
Listen,
because I was actually just looked at me out the side. I was here to drive your girl to set, not you.
No, this is when this is my first interaction with this dude when we picked him up from Seven's house in Brooklyn, and I was taking him back to the one.
Oh
man, listen, I'm like nah, I'm not an Uber driver. I'm like I got architect clients that I work for, that I do work for. I'm just doing this as a favor for my man.
Exactly. I ain't doing this as a favor. And first of all, why would you even ask me that? Do I look?
My next thing is the next thing I ask myself, like, why the fuck am I explaining myself to this thing? I don't know this.
Right. You. Yeah, I think he was trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, nah, but you could call an Uber if you rather that. If you rather go Uber, that's fine. You know what I mean? I was sitting here to, whatever.
You
I'm
should have
doing
been
a
like, look,
favor.
man, the sixth train right there. You got 2 minutes before it comes.
No,
Get
Ralph,
out.
He wasn't nowhere near. He was nowhere near the six.
He don't know that, but
Well,
he
Seven's crib is near a lot of
But
subways.
he would have had to walk south to get south
Oh
and
well.
Well, he
east.
wasn't even
To
from
east
the. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah,
to
Oh
get
well.
to get to get to the. The whole point is, yeah,
yeah.
you. I understand. I know you did that for me, so you were being very nice. 'Cause you did
Oh,
that.
I did it very diplomatically because the real me would have exactly what you would have said. Like it wouldn't even have been no conversation. Like you can get your bags, put them on the curb. Somebody will be here to pick you up shortly, whoever it is that you call. And if he'll meet you at the hotel. I don't know what to tell you.
Either
I'm
go
not
out the window
obligated
or
for the
take the
BS.
stairs. Go out the
But
window or take the stairs.
it's I mean this thing with these actors, man. I just I feel for them, but I just
No, I mean, to put a bow on it all, I mean, this is gonna go down to the wire. Some are predicting possibly the earliest is October. Some people are saying it may go all the way into November,
yeah.
depending
Listen,
on
I'm telling you, it's not gonna. I'm predicting January,
yeah. I
February.
mean, so I mean, we'll have to see. Yeah, because once you get to a certain degree, now here comes the holidays. So everybody usually kind of packs up
Yeah.
and goes away anyway.
And
So
nobody's not gonna care. They're gonna be like, well, whatever. And
well, I
and,
got
and meanwhile,
yeah, yeah.
you got the working actors who are at the bottom of the totem pole who are just gonna be out here like, hey, what about me? um,
Yeah.
hello. And basically, not to coin a phrase, but UPS is hiring. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
To go get on the packing line or something during the day because
Yeah.
it's going to be a long haul with this. Because I
It's
No,
gonna be a
do.
long haul. Yeah.
I was getting around when I said this, but I mean I said, you know what's gonna happen? First of all, you're gonna get a lot of these B-list actors and actresses that first of all, that all of a sudden you see, well, check out my OnlyFans. That's the first thing that's gonna happen, right? And then a whole lot of people that all of a sudden gonna say, you know what? I know how I've been making movies for years, yada yada. I'm I'm a union, but I'm going to make an independent production of my own, and they'll start going behind the cameras. That's the second thing that's going to happen. They'll start making their own productions outside of your system,
Which wasn't on that list, so they
which
probably
wasn't
can.
and they'll call their actor friends that are A-list and say, listen, I'm making this independent movie. I know I can't pay you, but let's just do something because what else you got to do, really? They say, you know
But
what, you're
no,
right.
but see,
And next,
and Ralph, that would work, and it would because me and Wes actually talked about it off
Yeah.
air. If the actors got together and just pooled their money and did their own thing, the only thing is it's tying their hands is that they're still in the union. But
Right.
it would that would be a beautiful thing.
It
If
would
they
be a
would
beautiful thing, and I think, Kev, that's how we can kind of wrap this up by basically saying, you know what, I think we talked about it off air. I think that's what ultimately the actors need to do. They need the only way that's going to really make a shift and quote unquote scare the studios is if they prove to them that they
we don't
actually
need
don't
you.
need them. Yeah. They actually don't need them because they don't create anything. What the studios bring to the table is money and distribution outlets. But guess what? The higher echelon of actors got money and they can get money, and
They're the draw.
they can they're the draw, so they can actually get distribution on their own if they decided to.
shit,
If they
nowadays you don't even need all you gotta do is the actor say, hey, listen, especially now, watch, give it like about three weeks. You're gonna get some and say, hey, listen, strike going, yada yada. I'm doing a GoFundMe to start my own independent movie. Right. And you can part of it like Veronica Mars did. You could be a part of it. And
You can be a
watch,
part of
if
it.
depending on who the actor is, they'll be able to get money from the general public because the public is on their side with this, and they'll be able to raise money on a GoFundMe to fund some sort of independent film. Watch.
Yeah, I can see that.
But watch OnlyFans blow up though. I'm telling you, watch OnlyFans blow up.
Check out my OnlyFans.
Listen, it will be.
Check
it will
out my
be nice
OnlyFans.
to see. It will be nice to see a handful of actors get together, form their own corporation, and just do what they. And I mean all the way down the line. I mean all the way down to cutting out the agent and these managers. Because you know what, I love how Steve Harvey said it, and it's a true fact. The reason why they wonder why some of these people, the people that you think should be rich and have all of this money, the reason why they don't have money is because between paying 10%, 10 to 15% to their manager, paying another what do agents get? Agents get 10%?
No, more than that. No,
15%.
15 to 20.
So
15
to 20 to the agent.
20,
Then the lawyer gets 10% or on top of whatever their fee is.
Yeah, then lawyer. If you're a girl, if you're a girl, you got a go squad. That costs money.
Yeah, you got your glam squad, your glam. So I mean,
and then on top of that, and then you got the IRS
retainers. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot.
So by the time you're finished working, you only get about 20% of your money. It's the whole system needs to be overhauled.
So I mean, I think at the end of the day, if the actors just decide, listen, we could do this on our own, we really don't need the studios, that would wake the studios up. But at the same time, they don't even, once they realize that they don't need them, they'll be better off. It's the same thing happened to the music industry when it came to a lot of people when streaming came into play and people started doing their own deals, and people started even back, we talked about before, Master P putting his own records out, writing his own ticket. I mean, it's inevitable because we're in the age of information, and you could deliver stuff directly to consumers, and they do have the clout in the popularity or whatever. I should say the clout and the money probably to you mean, like I said before, if a big name like Tom Cruise or Tyler Perry or anybody like that decided they want to go to AMC and strike a deal with them, you don't think that they wouldn't consider doing that?
Especially if it's exclusive, an AMC exclusive.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, it's Tom Cruise. He draws people. So, but yeah, that's cool, man.
Tom Cruise. All Tom Cruise got to do is film himself jumping over the active volcano on a scooter.
Yeah,
$1 billion movie right there, 5 minutes long.
There you go, 5 minutes long. Right,
he got a razor scooter, and he's going to take that and jump over an active volcano.
Volcano
that's
erupting.
Over the volcano, that's erupted. And when he goes over the volcano, he's going to jump off the scooter, and next thing you know, he's got one of those wings, and he's going to glide down.
Yeah. He's gonna have a lava-proof surfboard and surf down the lava down the side of the volcano. Yeah, but what I wanted to say was with that whole situation, man, like Mission Impossible. Now there was something, I couldn't find the article no more. I was trying to find it. There's an article out there, and when I find it, I'll put it in the room and send you guys. Maybe we could talk about it next week because this is an ongoing thing. Tom Cruise really needs to be on the side of SAG, and I'm not saying that he isn't, but I did see an article where he was talking about appealing to SAG-AFTRA to be allowed to continue to promote his movie.
Nope.
And,
sorry, Tom. Sit down.
That's what I know, right? Now I looked at that, and I can't find the article anymore, but I looked at that article and I was like, I'm like, right now, Tom, what you could do is what we're talking about. You should be the ringleader in something like that, because you got the clout to get people on your side and the people
Well,
that like the distributors and stuff like that, or not even
well,
the distributors, distribute the theatrical.
well. Listen, that's all well and good, but in this case, I understand where he's coming from because he's got too much invested in this
Yeah,
movie
but a lot of
for this
people, that's the whole point. Yeah,
for this strike. I mean, but
Yeah.
but personally, because remember he was paying for people to be in the bubble during COVID
I know.
and
That's
all of
true.
that stuff to make this movie.
Yeah.
So but like you said, we talk
He
about it
walks,
next week.
yeah, he walks
Um,
on both worlds too. He's a producer, and because he's in the Producers Guild, so he's a producer and an actor. So he walks on both worlds. But at the same time, I don't know this. I'm not sure if I would.
no,
I
I think
agree
that
with you, Kev. I
I still
understand where
think
he's
you sit
coming
down.
from, but he need at this point you need to be like, no.
But
Sit
you
down.
know what
Sorry.
that is?
Sorry,
No,
bro.
but you know what that is though. That's a desperation ask. Like,
It
look, can
is.
we just can I pump? I'm the one that during COVID, and I kind of think I see where he's coming from.
I
Like,
definitely see where he's coming from, but
yeah,
also, Kev, he would be the only one doing that, so that would not be a good look. You know what I'm saying? He'd be the only actor that's out there promoting when they just sent out to every actor not to do that. He'd be the only one doing it, so that wouldn't look good. That wouldn't look
yeah.
good to the rest of the
It wouldn't.
guild.
It
Yeah,
would.
No, I wouldn't.
But like I said, I understand. Like I said, I
I
can
understand
understand his
how
ass.
why he wants to
You know
do
what I'm
it.
saying? He waking up. That's waking up in a cold sweat money. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
it's but I
Yeah, that's
mean,
true.
it
That
is what it is.
I can agree with that one.
I could
I can
definitely
agree with
agree.
that.
I could definitely
But I'm
agree with it.
sorry, son.
I
You got.
understand, but you got at this point, unfortunately, if you were gonna do that, then they would have to let all the like the other ones that Barbie and Oppenheimer, like you'd have to let all of them do it too,
yeah.
because you can't, you know what I'm saying? Because they all got movies out right now, and their movies, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's interesting. We'll pick it up next week. Good looks. Good to see you back, Joseph Tanner. Thanks everybody else who came through and everyone who
We'll
worked
try
on
to keep it more black for you, Joseph.
I know, right? His refreshed mind
Wow.
said earlier when we were talking about Johnny Depp, the MonsterVerse, Johnny Depp and Tom Cruise in a Dracula franchise, like a new version. I'll be here for it. All right, cool. Thanks for your comment, refresh minds, and thanks for coming through. Everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, smash the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and of course, that's it. Like, subscribe, and share, and comment if you want to on the
And
page.
don't forget about us.
Don't forget about us. Sha-da-da-da. Peace. We need to say that all in unison. Sha-da-da-da. Let's just do it. 1, 2, 3. All right, peace, everybody.